Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this is the Moment of Truth. Everyone gives celebrities a hard time for their political views, and understandably so, mostly because the majority of these high-profile people with the harshest viewpoints also have the cushiest lives. And while a lot of jarheads in Hollywood and the music industry are living examples of this kind of vapidness, by far the black celebrities take the cake and eat it too. But then again, they're all inventions of the white media, so it's no surprise that with Kamala Harris's defeat at the hands of Trump, a lot of the white media's lost what little credibility they might have thought they had, and as a result, these bootlicking celebrities who are inventions of the white media have also suffered a similar fate. For the longest time, the black media has told you that we do not and will not run around chasing after these celebrities. They don't speak for us, and we're not looking for them to lend their voice to our cause. Their interests are all too often totally opposed to ours. Politics and celebrity have become part of the same cult of fame. So, of course, these actors and singers and entertainers and athletes, they think they have some sort of legitimacy to speak on issues that are totally outside their understanding. I told you about how the oh-so-liberal Whoopi Goldberg decided it would be a good idea to say that the problem is these millennials and Gen Zers, especially millennials, why they can't get a house because they're all just lazy. This coming from a woman who makes her living sitting behind a desk and shooting off her mouth. It just never occurred to any of these people that them insulting and disrespecting the public would not be seen as any better than the orange man making some snide comments. It's the same reason that Barack Obama thought that it was perfectly acceptable for him to wag his finger at the black community and black men in specific and say you guys are all a bunch of sexists if you don't do what I say. This is the reason that Kamala Harris lost the election. Putting too many of the wrong people in front of the cameras and having them saying the wrong things. They thought that having all of these folks, all of these celebrities hop in front of the TV cameras would dazzle the masses and make us forget that Kamala and Biden haven't done anything for us, but they've both done a ton of things to us. Well, we weren't fooled, and we didn't forget. Kamala Harris had basketball players, singers, actors stumping for her, selling the soap. About the only thing she was missing was a high wire act. See, in the old days, a few TV stars and athletes would be all you needed just to make black folks forget all about their interest and do as they're told. They would be dazzled by having this or that celebrity in front of the camera saying, vote for our buddy Kamala and don't bother asking what you're going to get. She's not from the other team and that's all she needs to be. Long as she's not Donald Trump, that's the only thing she has to do. It's been that way for generations now. And while we have not totally broken their hold on the collective black mind, we've managed to loosen their grip, and that's no small thing. Our message holds more weight now with black people than these celebrities, and they're upset with that because in their line of work, it's important, it is crucial that they prove they're relevant. That's the coin of the realm for them. So they like to be on stage with the politicians, to claim to be a spokesperson for them, or on some sort of so-called advisory board that the White House claims to have. All meaningless political and media theater. USA Today ran a story back in May, 2 months before Kamala was handed the nomination, and in this piece they reported on a poll in which the respondents said that celebrities don't really have any influence on how they vote. But according to this piece, respondents claimed that the Obamas do. And of course that does make sense. There's an old saying that politicians are nothing more than people who were too ugly to become actors. But it's only when you read the story that you see that it says only 18% of the people polled said the former President Barack Obama's opinion mattered to them a lot, and 14% said the same of former First Lady Michelle Obama's. This is what they were talking about the Obamas. This is how much stroke the Obamas have got with the voters, how much influence they have. This is how low the influence of celebrities is what the headline should have been, and it also shows how low the influence of the Obamas is. This story was written back in May. And meanwhile, 2 months later, when Kamala got the nomination handed to her on a silver platter, and she was busy lining up celebrities, actors, and athletes to speak at her rallies, the white media was reporting on that with breathless anticipation and gushing endlessly about how important it is that she had Taylor Swift and her Swifties and Beyonce's Beehive backing her up. Now, of course, it's very easy to laugh at the white media's coverage of this in hindsight. Hell, it would have been easy to laugh at this puff piece back when it was posted in May. But the reason that I bring this up is, in this story, it rests on the fact that celebrity and politicians are in the same category now. Any attempts to portray them as being separate are merely the white media trying to maintain the fraud that when you look at these politicians, you're supposed to see something other than people who are just too ugly to be Hollywood actors. But this is how the sausage is made and how the masses get played. But it just goes to underscore why it is that we don't truck with these celebrity types. It's because all too often they're dead wrong. Take a look. It's like every sorry celebrity you've seen the last 20 years or so, all of them shamelessly making their little statements, thinking to themselves that they've got some sort of high ground, when the reality is the only thing they've got is a home in the hills and that's it. They were all hoping to use supporting Kamala Harris to boost their own profiles because that's how these things work in the white media. Ultimately, everything is an opportunity to promote oneself. 4 years ago, you had Kamala pretending to be dancing to Cardi B, and this year she's being endorsed by Cardi B. Ordinarily, I might say that this is an example of art imitating life, but truth be told, would anyone call what Cardi B does art? So you got the next wannabe president basically being the candidate of talentless thoughts. And poor Cardi B, she didn't know whether to support Kamala Harris on the grounds of being an immigrant advocate or on the grounds of being a woman. But I guess now, regardless, she's going to have to go back to hustling those drawers and drugging Johns at some seedy hotel. I'm sure she had her heart set on twerking in the Oval Office. And of course, not to be outdone, you had Meg the Stallion out there. I don't know why these two didn't do a rendition of WAP at one of Kamala's rallies. That's about the only thing that they were missing. So this is who they're representing. This is supposed to be the planks of Kamala's political platform. This was not a candidacy to be taken seriously. And to think, these are the exact same people who claim that they have no idea why it is that Donald Trump won. Why would the masses of people, at least the ones who turned out and bothered to vote, decide that they would support Donald Trump over Kamala Harris? To them, it makes no sense. They're utterly blinded to the fact that their own supporters were demoralized by Kamala Harris, and the people who actually did vote, they did take a reasoned appraisal of both of the candidates, and they decided that they would prefer to take their chances with Donald Trump's little sideshow as opposed to the three-ring circus that Kamala Harris had going. These guys look like the bar scene from Star Wars and didn't even know it. That's what happens when you live most of your time sitting around in a circle with your buddies, sipping tea and swapping recipes for the next total cleanse and telling yourself how brilliant you are, completely and thoroughly ignoring the suffering of the masses and telling them, well, no matter how bad you may think it is, it'll be even worse under Trump. These are people who are terminally out of touch. And if anybody thinks that the values of Meg the Stallion and Cardi B are what people want even in the black community, they're dead wrong. But that's what the Democrats were offering. This is why the Democrats have no problem making crap like get your booty to the polls. Far as they're concerned, they think that their gutter appraisal of the black community is who and what we truly are. But we showed that as with everything else, they were dead wrong. Their form of black voter outreach got a slap in the face from us, and that's how it should be. When they come to us, they refuse to discuss anything serious. It's all just flash and trash, talking about nothing but weed, abortions, and crypto regulations. This while the killings of black people by the police is higher now than it was at any point during Trump's first administration. You're not going to be able to wallpaper that over by having Beyonce take to the stage and sing a couple of bars of Bootylicious. But Wendell Pierce has to be the one who was probably the biggest loser in all of this. He proves that these black celebrities are not just useful idiots, they are active participants in our repression. This man sat on live TV and he confessed that he knew exactly what Kamala was doing and that she wasn't offering black people anything at all. He confessed to the scam. All it took was that former Bush administration official, Scott Jennings, or whatever the hell his name is, running his mouth and saying, this is all racial, offering black people something is racial. And Wendell Pierce came out and said, no, this is not for black people alone, this is for everyone. He was simultaneously telling us that Kamala's non-policies were in fact policies for us, while at the same time saying it's for everybody. And to say it so seriously like he did, as if he thought that he was convincing us, he was making a real serious point. But then again, he is an actor, and this is basically what he does, taking things that he doesn't truly believe, or things that he might be dumb enough to believe, and saying it with all the conviction and gravitas that he can possibly muster. But you know, interestingly, 50 Cent posted a picture of himself shaking hands with the Orange Man, and along with the picture, he posted the comment, I don't care how the fight goes, I'm leaving with the winner. He also wrote underneath that, I still don't know what's going on, but that's not true at all. 50 Cent knows exactly what's going on. 50 Cent is taking care of 50 Cent, and that's it. And while I certainly don't encourage taking sides in this election, the truth is 50 Cent is expressing what, at least to an extent, is a valid idea. That no matter who loses the election, you should always try to position yourself so that you win. He didn't want to be in a position where his future rested solely on whomever won an election. Now, of course, it's far more complex than that. Trump has the ability to keep a straight face while talking to a famous black person. This is certainly no love fest going on. It's just one individual looking out for himself alone. Say what you want, but in his own way, 50 Cent is demonstrating that politics and elections are not about friendship. It's not about loyalty. It's about protecting your interests. And it's okay if you feel some kind of way about 50 Cent taking photos with Trump. I sincerely doubt that he said a single syllable about the black community. But just keep in mind, if Kamala had won the election, we would be subjected to photos of Wendell Pierce taking photos with her. And he's not looking out for anyone but himself either. All these celebrities, they've lost so much of what little credibility they thought they had. They all decided they were going to turn out for Kamala Harris, and so many of them willfully chose to put their standing and popularity and their credibility on the line for her. And as a result, when she lost, so did they. All of these celebrities, but not a single one of them sticks up for black people's interests. They're all out there talking about abortion. They're all out there talking about reproductive freedom, which is the exact same thing, but freedom to do what? Not freedom to reproduce. It's freedom to make sure that you don't reproduce. Orwell would be proud. All of them playing the game with our lives. Well, now the final curtain has fallen on this little political melodrama, not just for Kamala Harris, but also for these bootlicking celebrities who were backing her up. But too late they realized that the real stars of the show wasn't these bootlicks at all, but rather the black community, who decided to give Kamala and these black celebrities thumbs down. And as a result, there's not going to be a sequel for Kamala Harris at all. So that being the case, let the real stars of the show take a bow. Good day, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors. James Watkins, Bobby Williams, Cornell Sly, Jacqueline McBride, and Yasharon Heron. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.